It's the AM show. Welcome back. Now, the GETFund 2024 Stakeholder Forum successfully concluded with an engaging discussion on the role of the GETFund in shaping contemporary education in Ghana. The event brought together key stakeholders, including government representatives, the education minister was there, the education sector leaders, scholars, and the media to reflect on the fund's achievements and chart a way forward for sustainable education financing. The discussions also highlighted the GETFund's contributions to infrastructure development, which we'll be talking about, scholarship programs, which we will be talking about, and vocational education as well, while also addressing challenges such as funding constraints, project management, and equitable scholarship distribution. Now, if you look at the key achievements highlighted at the event, at least just a few of them, infrastructure development, the GETFund has significantly invested in building and rehabilitating educational facilities across the country. We have the leadership of the GETFund right here, the administrator, and he is going to be walking me through some of what the GETFund has been up to so far, and then we shall look at yesterday's event and get into other related matters. Good morning.
Good morning.
And this is Dr. Richard Ampofo Boadu. He is the administrator of the GETFund. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Over the last few years, practically every year or two, you come by, you swing by, you give us a sort of report card on what you've been up to. And I guess today we're going to get a lot more information, aren't we?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So let's start with the historical antecedents. Between 2017 and now, it's always good to reflect. What would you say, as you've been at the helm of affairs, the GETFund has been up to, has achieved, how it has impacted education in Ghana?
I would like to greet your listeners and the viewers, and a very good morning to them. GETFund, as an act set up by Parliament, Act 581, Act 2000, Act 581, and as amended, Act 972, takes its receivables from a straight levy. Historically, it used to be 2.5% of VAT, but now it is a straight levy. And in terms of our main activities to provide educational support for basically the three levels, that is the secondary, the tertiary, secondary, and then the basic education. And it's also support other agencies and then other quasi-government agencies, some under the ministry, some not under the ministry. And we get this mandate by what we call the distribution formula. That is, our budget is approved by Parliament. And we apportion money to key activities that we have to do. I always say that we have to come here and then let people know what we are doing, because you sitting there, the cameraman, the watch seller, whoever is in Ghana, contribute to...
We all do.
We all do. So we should also come to you and let us know what we're doing with your money. Because yes, that's what I told them yesterday. A snapshot in 2024, September, I'm going to give it because we update it every quarter. We are owing contractors to the tune of about 900 million, including those that it's part of the 2024 budget. Total project...
Is this Ghana cedis, right?
Yeah, Ghana cedis. I'm talking cedis now. Total project of, as a GETFund, since inception is 11,249. So far, completed projects 7,679. Now you ask the question from 2017 up to 2024. At 2017, there were about 3,897 ongoing projects, which I'll refer as legacy projects, because that's what I came.
Over 3,000 of them?
Yeah, over 3,000 of them. And then, over the period, we've initiated 2,749 projects. The breakdown will come. And we've completed 3,077. And currently, there are about 3,569 ongoing projects. So a snapshot of the GETFund, this is what I can say as of September 2024.
So total projects 11,249.
Yes.
Out of which you mentioned a completed, and then you just mentioned another completed of 3. So completed 7,679. Since inception
is 7,679.
Okay.
Yes, but now from...
When you say since inception, you are mentioning since the GETFund rolled out.
Yeah, that was in 2001.
Okay. All right. And the 3,077 is within this bracket?
Yeah.
Within 2017 to now?
Yeah, 2017 till now.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. So 7,679 over time since 2001, thereabouts. And within this bracket alone, 3,077 within 7 years. That means you've been up to a lot within this short time frame.
And even more is coming because of the strategy that we're using.
What's your strategy?
Okay. So in 2018, thereabout, when the free SHS came on, apart from contractors that were owing, we adopted some measures that, one, because of the free SHS, definitely enrollment had to increase. The infrastructure that we had, we should find a way of completing those infrastructure. So we did a 3-way approach. One, to target the ongoing projects. One, where we did a need-based assessment. And then to make sure that projects in some of the schools where there were existing facilities, when you add on, you don't need to bring a new headmaster, and then all that you have to do is maybe appoint some 2 or 3, because there are some existing structures that can be used. So that is where a lot of the projects went into. And then the third one was to build new schools from the scratch. So this 3 approach went in, and we've been able to do a lot. Aside that, the payment of contractors, I've been here before, and I told you that for the first time in Ghana, contractors did work, and then less than 3 weeks they were paid. It hasn't happened in the history of Ghana.
In less than 3 weeks?
In less than 3 weeks.
After the completion of work?
No, not after. On bringing their claims.
Proposals.
Their claims to the fund.
I see.
We did that for about 3 years. It was consistent payment of contractors.
How were you able to do that?
The magic to do that lies in an innovative borrowing. The securitization that people always try and then spin it and then say that GETFund has been collateralized, or GETFund has been... they have their way of saying it. But that was an innovative way of borrowing. And this is how come we are getting dividends. And to tell you, GETFund is no longer on that assignment again. So now we don't assign our receivables for the debt. Government has taken up that debt portfolio through the DDEP, and GETFund is free from
the domestic debt exchange program.
Yeah.
So it was fed into the DDEP.
Yeah, it was fed into the DDEP.
So now, do you still borrow, or if you borrow, it's not for those purposes?
Yeah, no. We've completed with that process.
So you don't borrow anymore?
No.
Okay. And your debts have been serviced?
Yes, for the government has taken over. So it's not part
so when you say that as of now, the GETFund does not owe any entity in terms of debts for some of these projects?
In respect of that.
Yes, in respect of that.
There are a small percentage, about, I think for now it's about 19 million that didn't go under the DDEP.
Which you have to? Which the GETFund has to take care of? Yeah,
we have to take care of.
How is that going?
By the end of the year, that process will be over. It's just left with approvals. There are so many options that they've tabled for us, either paying them off, because we have money with the special purpose vehicle that we have money with them. And even this month, they've given us 160 million to pay contractors. So it is our money that now we have with them. Okay. We can pay those off, and then they go. But it has to take the necessary approval levels. before that goes through. So we are good with that bond.
Mm-hmm. Before we proceed, some of our viewers are curious about the location of these projects. For example, when I look at the new projects, Basic 599, SHS 633, Tertiary 11, TVET Centers 2, Model Schools 2. One of our viewers is saying, okay, so these projects, where are they? I want you to just let them know where the projects are.
So the breakdown, and
you don't have to, we don't have to go through, we are not going through all of this.
Because facts do,
where are
they are all located. So if the breakdown is 1,501 basic schools, secondary school 1,161, model schools 9 of them, TVET centers 4, tertiary 74. And if you look at, for instance, the breakdown I have for Bono and
the different regions.
The different regions. Basic school 158. There is a table to that, and you can locate each and every project that we're saying that we've initiated. There's something being you can get it. It is not just a matter of just coming to put figures there. It is of a fact.
I see the different regions. Some of the figures are in this magenta color is a bit, but I see, for example, OT has 47, 41, and 2. I think tertiary is 2, secondary is 41, and then basic is 47. That's for OT. And then it applies. So all 16 regions of Ghana have had a share of this.
Yes, all of them have. They've gotten their share. It's been initiated. That's it. In our books.
And all of these are, like you mentioned, because you also indicated infrastructure projects as well. How are they going in respect of the tertiary educational institutions? You know, for example, the University of Ghana, infrastructure is a bit of an issue. They need more housing because of the numbers and all of that. Are you collaborating with, I mean, at the tertiary level, what's the picture like?
Okay, at the tertiary level, I've said this before, that we put a hold to new projects unless the board approves that for a special reason we should do this project. You see, there were a lot of projects scattered in the tertiary sector. They had their challenge, and I've been on set and I've let people know what the challenges were. So we put a hold to it. And that's how come you see that the tertiary numbers are not that huge. We said that they should finish their ongoing projects before new ones are given to them. So the target for the tertiary is for them completing the projects. Because
so there's a sort of moratorium.
Yeah,
and they have to complete projects.
Complete all projects. So money that we sent in there, they had to use it to complete their project. That's how come a lot of the tertiary projects are now completing their project. When that phase goes off, once you don't have any GETFund project in your uni, then
new ones can be started.
Yes.
These are targeted at public institutions.
Yeah,
right? Public institutions.
Yeah.
So the University of Ghana, do they have a backlog that they have to clear?
Yes, they have about, I think, 4 or 5 projects ongoing. There is this, that old project,
Which one? Is it the one around the Jones Quarter building?
No, it's one that is it the Performing Arts Theatre? It's about 90% completed. F-Science, they have a project there, and then they are all getting to their completion. The Vice Chancellor came to my office. We had a beautiful discussion, a very fruitful one, and now a lot of the projects are speeding up. KNUSC, the same. Projects that had been abandoned 20 years ago, we've rejuvenated them, and they are now doing it. There are some of them that they thought that the contractors were the ones that were posing the problem of completion. I gave them the go-ahead that we are not the ones that awarded the contract. So that decision lies in your hand. If you want to terminate and then re-award, and then bring a new contractor who has the financial muscle to complete. All these projects to the way forward for ongoing projects, because you see that a lot of them, about 3,000 or so projects, are in the system that we have to complete. the way forward is for them to repackage, because the contractors are businessmen. And if they do the contract and they see that they are going to lose, what they're going to do is they will stop and they abandon the project. So most of the abandoned projects, not the doing of GETFund, but the contractor finds it not feasible and economically viable for him to continue. So now we want to revise rates, but stringent measures are put into place so that the contractor will be able to complete the project. And that is what we're looking at.
Of course, if you make life easy for the contractor, then the work will be completed, and then other measures can be brought to bear. So if I look at, there's someone else sending in a question. I just want us to get into some of them so that people know what exactly is happening. But if you look at your latest report, the GETFund bond program, utilization of loan or bond proceeds, you talk about 2016 outstanding claims, certificates arising from ongoing projects, the contract certificates, construction of classrooms and dormitories, that's the intervention project, construction of new model schools, construction of TVET centers, and the procurement of buses, furniture, and TLMs. I would like you to elaborate on this briefly, but before you do, lest I forget, Seth Nana Odro Kwarteng says, ask him of the status of the GETFund classroom project at Dadiase Agric SHS in the Ashanti region. Do you know about it? I know it's very specific, so it may be
very specific. But you see, if the person out there who is closer to that project, because I don't have the facts unless I go to, if the project has been stalled, that is what I'm saying. It lies on whoever wants the project to be completed. Go to where the project was awarded. Because they come to GETFund, and then we direct them to where the project management and implementation is done by the awarding bodies. I am on a platform.
Who are the awarding?
I'm coming. The Ministry of Education, the Regional Coordinating Council, the District Assemblies, MMDAs, the universities, depending on the level, because I said that tertiary, secondary, and then primary, and then there are others. They award the contract. There are some of the DC, they come to my office and then they come and then blame GETFund for maybe a project that has been stalled for about 7 years. Then I asked him, has the contractor been paid? He said, I'm aware that the contractor has been paid. I said, yeah, that's where our, we gave the financial clearance for you to go ahead. So the onus lie on you. You have the power to terminate. Okay. If you don't terminate that contract will never be completed.
Are they all aware of this? I think it's some sensitization
I was coming to that point. I'm on a platform with all the regional ministers, and I've posted projects in each region to the regional ministers. There's a letter that we've written, and this is not something that started maybe this year. There's a letter that we've written to all these that GETFund hasn't suspended any project. If there's a project that we intend to stall, we'll communicate it to you. So find the contractor who is there, and then if you have to terminate, you terminate, so that we can quick start the project. And we are doing this because we saw this problem and sent it to Parliament. And when we went to Parliament, we gave them a 3-year plan. With the 3-year plan, with the funding, the proposed funding, we need about 6.1 million, which part of it was given to us this year. And by this, all projects are supposed to be completed within the 3-year framework that we've given. We know that the Ghanaian, as a person, will not get 100%. So we are saying that if we get about 80% percentage completion, we will pat our back and then say that, or our chest and then say that we've done a yeoman's job. That is our target.
But don't say the Ghanaian. The Ghanaian can also do 100%. It's possible.
Ghanaian contractors.
It can be done.
So let me lower it to Ghanaian contractors.
Well, it can be done.
I have a presentation on contractors and then consultants.
There are so many things that I feel. I also know some people who are contractors. I have some friends who are contractors.
That are very good.
And I feel sometimes there are many factors that make them stall, on these projects.
In my presentation last year, I gave about 6 causes of delay. One of them is GETFund not paying in time.
Right.
I must be frank.
Right.
If we don't pay in time, the contractor will not do that. But there are other factors.
Right.
But one thing that stood out was the type of, the caliber, the qualification of the contractor and the financial capacity of the contractor.
True.
That is one thing that is...
Which is why I have always said that if you go to other jurisdictions, there are huge... We don't have those in Ghana. You don't have a firm. Like how you would go to a Queiroz Galvão from Brazil, and they are major, they are huge, they are doing massive projects, not just in Brazil. They are doing projects, they did what we call the Circle Dubai. How are they able to do these things? These Chinese, some of the Chinese contractors. So it's high time we also got to the point where as a country, we created, even if with public support, public-private partnerships, entities that huge who can undertake these projects and have the financial muscle to do them.
So in our 3-year plan policy, the one that we sent to Parliament, and that dovetails into the future of what GETFund is going to do, we unveil an online digitization platform where even any entity who wants to award must first come for financial clearance from GETFund, meaning that we have the funds to do the project. Hitherto, somebody can sit in his or her office and then award on behalf of GETFund. That was something that was happening in the past, but we've streamlined them. And then we are not supposed to go into procurement. So they do the procurement on our behalf. But at the tail end of the procurement, we've introduced a letter of no objection. So you have to come to GETFund and then get a letter of no before you go. Do you know what that seeks to do?
What?
On the platform, we've developed the profile of every contractor, every consultant, every project. So if the consultant has numerous projects scattered, he can get 2 at Ashanti region, 2 here, and it will be difficult at the time of awarding that this contractor has this.
We'll be able to complete all of them.
On a click of a button on my tablet, I'll be able to profile every contractor and then know your performance, your how we owe you, the pace of your work that we're doing. So out of that, we are going to categorize the contractors into classes. And by so doing, we are building the contractors who will go in the A into what you are thinking now. So the contractor, we will not interfere into your procurement, but we can give you an advice. These contractors are contractors in class A. If you want your project to be done in a specific way, you can choose from them. That will help with those with money. And then we'll limit their contract. If we get to know that this contractor is getting more than we'll be able to, sitting in my office, I'll be able to tell that this contractor has about 10.
So in real time, you're able to follow all of these.
All these. And then the project segmentation too, we can, maybe the distribution. We can also know Greater Accra has this number of schools, this region has this number of schools, and it can profile a project by segmentation into tertiary, primary, and whatever.
That's
it helps in planning, it helps in budgeting, and whatever.
That's definitely something we ought to do, because in other countries, they are able to ensure that, and you see, it has a spin-off effect.
Yes.
If you do this well, then you know that projects are getting completed rather than the haphazard way we do things. And then you have projects littered across the country and just a few of them completed. So and it's our taxpayers' money, like you mentioned. GETFund is run by our money. We make purchases, deductions are made, and then, so it belongs to all of us.
I can remember this year when I was going to Parliament and I had to get my budget approved. The question was, are you telling us that you are not going to do any new project this year and you expect us to approve your budget? No, we need projects. But when I sat them down and I asked them, call your district, check the number of projects that are there. Some say, well, I don't have anything. I say, no, you check it. They come and, hey, I have about 17. I have this, other. I say, yes. So let us find contractors to finish that project. Those projects are in stages. We'll be able to complete them earlier than something that we start new. So let's do that. And then a lot of those projects, we're looking at the next 3 years. If this plan is followed, there will be the story that GETFund is in the current year and projects that they award, they're able to complete within the time. I told you that contractors that we owe, by this budget, the 2024 budget, every contractor, as at December 2023, the arrears, all their the liabilities to that effect will be paid. So what it will mean is that we'll be in the current year, and no contractor can just say that GETFund is owing them and they are not working. Mm-hmm. And then we make contracts in such a way that they are completed within the time frame. Those that are multi-year contracts, like the universities, we're going to phase them out. Phase 1, this is it. So you design based on phases. You finish phase 1, we have the money. That will even, because a contract may start at 2 million and it goes to the kingdom come and it becomes 40 million. Right. We have some like that. Right. Those initiated at President Kufuor's time. There are some that are...
Some of them that are still, you know, their lifetime is still running. So just a quick word before we get into the loan or bond proceeds and how you've utilized them across the different phases. I think this WhatsApp platform you spoke of, reaching out to the regional ministers and all of that, it is obvious some of them will not let it trickle down. I think the GETFund should also reach out to these places individually. It's a possibility. Because if the regional ministers are themselves surprised, then it tells you that some information is not trickling down. Just a piece of feedback or maybe advice.
We've gone even further than just the WhatsApp messages. No.
Okay.
We've gone even
So let's talk about the utilization of loan or bond proceeds. You have quite a number of them here, from the outstanding claims that you've spoken about to procurement of buses, furniture, and what are the TLMs?
Teaching and learning materials.
Teaching and learning materials. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
So you see the vast investment that we've done in education with the loan, because somebody will ask you, I hear people saying, oh, you went and borrow a lot of money and nothing is being seen. For the first time in Ghana, see the number of buses. You go to most of the schools and then you see donated by GETFund. That aside, we gave pickups to all the district education directorate. So every district that you go, you find a GETFund pickup donated by GETFund. The circuit supervisors, we gave them motorbikes, 1,500 of them, to aid them. So the teacher quality is also being what enhanced. And all these were part of the bond issue. Just know that as at December, contractors were being owed. We paid all the arrears that the contractors, for them to go back to site. And I told you that once upon a time, in a period of 3 years, contractors work in Ghana in less than 3 weeks. They get paid. So that also has reflected in the numbers of completion of projects. And there are a lot of other things that we did with the bond issue. The one teacher, one laptop. It was also sponsored. 70% of it was sponsored by GETFund, the first part of it. And this is about 360,000 of those laptops, which has been given up. Also, the 450,000 of the students' tablets were also through the fund. So a lot of improving the quality of education. So one aspect is the built infrastructure, boosting it up, and then we look at the quality of education, where I can say that whiteboards, and then marker. We've been able to phase out all the secondary schools, the blackboards into whiteboards.
I see.
Across Ghana, 16 regions, and currently basic school, we've done 5 regions and still counting.
So I want us to maximize the time we have left, talking about 3 things: scholarships, model schools, and then the stakeholder forum from yesterday. But let's start with the scholarships. And, you know, GETFund, there's been a lot of talk about GETFund scholarships, and some of the talk has not been very positive. That, oh, this and that. No, you hold for me. You hold for me. This question comes in. He says, kindly inquire about the support for professional development, that is scholarship for public sector workers, lecturers on further studies, and others. How well is the GETFund scholarship scheme? How healthy is it as of today?
Very, very.
Very healthy.
Very, very. And I always say that people don't even know the different types of scholarship in the country.
You're talking about so the main scholarship,
I'm not,
the scholarship scheme. And then
that isn't what people don't even know. So right. They end up and then they just...
Mixing everything. Right.
You see, our scholarship is done in such a way that initially the number for the local scholarship started about 333 as of December 2016. Mm-hmm. Now the number has jumped to a level of 5,000 plus.
300 plus to 5,000 plus.
5,000 plus. Mm. And
within what period did this happen?
From 2017.
So around 300, 2017. Now
no, I'm saying that 2023, 2024 academic year.
Over 5,000?
Yeah, over 5,000. Just a single year. Mm. In the preceding year, it was 4,200. Mm. So we are now, it's a policy that we are now trying to support more of the local than the foreign sponsors.
This just came to mind. Let me do this lest I forget. We've had to interview a number of Ghanaian students in different places who sometimes they say scholarship scheme. And I think even in recent times, you heard of some of them in the UK. No, I just want to find out whether there are any links between the scholarship secretariat and these ones, whether sometimes there are funding constraints for some of these and they are tied to you. Are there any such?
You see, for GETFund, the Act tells us what we have to do. It's just funding. We provide supplementary funding to scholarship for local, not for foreign.
Okay. And that conversation has also come up.
Yeah, it is for local. It is not for foreign. Okay. And I'm telling you that for the past 2 years, GETFund was not doing foreign scholarship because of a brouhaha that went, and that was a misconception. I can tell you on authority that before we did this, some of the CSOs wrote to they wrote to Parliament that GETFund is not supposed to do scholarship per Act. Auditor General sent his people to GETFund to come and audit. And I'm telling you, before they left, on our exit meeting, they apologized to GETFund for not even understanding our process.
How you work.
Yeah.
I see.
So you see the brouhaha that started somewhere where I, the administrator, through the board, paid for an audit in our institution, and it was used against me. That was it. I paid for because I just wanted to know how the processes were.
But in the end, you were able to clear the air. So
yeah,
the point being made that per the Act, you are only giving scholarships locally, as of now.
No, to scholarships again. What I said.
Right. But I mean, you are addressing yes.
No, I've also explained because our mandate comes from. Our mandate comes from our Act 2E. That says that the minister, in consultation with the board, can do anything that is of educational essence.
Okay.
And then secondly, the other fact that betrays our point is that our distribution formula goes by line item, what we want to do in a specified year.
Right.
The processes goes through Parliament, and it is not approval by just the board approving it. It goes, if I tell you first, it has to go through the management does it. It goes through.
So there are processes. Unfortunately,
there are processes.
We don't have.
And you see, the Parliament approves. If we are going to do scholarship for local or for a Parliament, anything that Parliament approves is a law.
Okay.
In Cairo. So
let's conclude with.
Let me talk about the new thing in scholarship, because you see,
briefly.
People, I'm telling you, we've managed the scholarship so well. This year, the foreign scholarship that we did, all their stipend have been paid, all their fees have been, one semester has been paid. And this year, even we went further to employ somebody, a consultancy, engage a consultancy firm that did it free for us, for them to get their visas.
Okay.
Aside that, there are savings that we're making too in scholarship management, because there are schools that we have partnership with, and for the partnership that we have with them, they've given us rebate. Some of them, initially, I wanted to do 180 this year, but we ended up by doing 224 because we had that arrangement.
I don't want us to miss the opportunity to talk about yesterday. So let's briefly look at the stakeholder forum.
The stakeholders,
what your key takeaways are. That's the final point.
The stakeholders meeting that we brought all people that matters in the educational sector to bear, and this is where we get positive criticisms, and that shaping us for the next year and what we have to do. But the key thing, the big thing that happened there was our projects digitization process, where contracts can be managed with just a click of a button. The contract management is going into a new dimension. And with this, the second phase of this whole digitization project is for us to link Auditor General, PPA, Central Tender Review Committee, the awarding bodies onto the online. So the Auditor General will have the access to whatever GETFund is doing in terms of its project. If we've gone through our budget, he will see it. If CTRC wants any data on GETFund, he can just click a button and get it, and then know that. And one aspect too is that a budgetary allocation will be set for it. So if I hit the budget, I cannot go on and then approve anything.
Okay.
So budgetary control.
I think there will be more opportunity to delve into. I see questions coming through. I can't do those, but thank you for joining us for this conversation today. And maybe some other time I'll get into what your expectations are ahead of 2024. But Doc, thank you so much for joining. Dr. Richard Ampofo Boadu is the GETFund Administrator. He joined us this morning for this all-important conversation. Stay with us. Up next, the National Science and Math Quiz will be giving you the scoop. Is your school still in there? We'll be back after the break.